There comes a point in a man's life when he no longer needs to be told who he is, not because he's hardened, not because he's withdrawn, but because something has settled. He moves without needing agreement, holds his ground without needing to explain it, stands even when nothing around him does. And in that steadiness, something quiet returns. He's no longer chasing approval, no longer bending to fit another story, no longer apologizing for his shape. For the first time in a long while, his footing is his own. There's strength in standing alone, not the kind that performs, the kind that remains. A man who can stand on his own values in his timing with his own voice has reclaimed his life. That strength is earned through silence, through fire, through years of getting back up without witness. You don't arrive here by accident, and if you've reached it or are close, you know the cost. What comes after standing is not obvious. After enough pain, many men decide alone is safer. And for a time, they're right. Solitude heals. It clarifies. It restores a man to himself. But solitude can harden if it's never revisited. It can become distant, suspicion, a posture that protects and isolates. Make no bones about it. Standing alone is power. Staying alone can become a cage. Sovereignty does not reject connection. It refuses false connection. A man who has reclaimed himself doesn't fear proximity. He fears collapse. He doesn't avoid other men. He avoids delusion. He has learned the difference between standing beside someone and disappearing next to them. That difference matters. When a man has rebuilt his center, the next work isn't more solitude, it's discernment. Who gets close? Who doesn't? Who walks beside him? And who remains at a distance? Not out of judgment, out of self-respect. A man who has done this work doesn't chase approval, doesn't compete, doesn't try to fix. He walks with a small, chosen few. Men who respect space. Men who challenge without controlling. Men who stand without needing to stand over. That kind of proximity strengthens sovereignty. It doesn't replace it. After enough carrying, it's tempting just to close that door completely, to decide that silence is safer than risk. But consider this. What if you didn't endure all of that just to become another quiet man holding the wall alone? What if your steadiness was never meant to end with you? Not necessarily to teach, not to lead from ego, but to stand present and real where other men can recognize themselves. You don't need the brotherhood to be whole. You don't need permission to trust your own footing. But sometimes the true friend beside you doesn't weaken you. He reminds you that your strength is shared, that your silence has weight, that your presence matters. Choosing connection without surrendering yourself is where masculine power matures. There's strength in standing alone. You've already proven that. But there's another kind of strength, quieter, more deliberate, knowing when someone can walk beside you without pulling you off your ground. Not many can, but some can. And if something in this conversation felt familiar, there's a good chance you already know the difference. You don't need to go looking for it. Just don't close the door too hard or too early. And stay with that. Because when you do, you start to recognize how few men actually stand this way. That's the shift most men never make. But you're making it now.